Hey, 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 it's Jill with Under Cottonwood. I am working on a super pretty wreath tonight. And yeah, so I got my sunglasses on because my hair is out of control because I hope it rains because the humidity has got my hair looking a mess, but oh well. So that's why my sunglasses are still in my head. But anyway, I have some cute stuff tonight. I don't think I've ever made a mesh wreath before, so I'm working on cutting some ribbon at the moment. But I have these, and then I made this cute little sign today just to say "Home Sweet Home." And then here's the goodies I got. So I got the sunflowers, those pretty blue flowers from Walmart. Few little daisies. So that's what I got. That's what I'm working with. So I've got some ribbon cut already. So I'm kind of going with the navy and yellow theme. So I'm working on that. So I just was getting started with cutting my other ribbon. So anyway, join me if you wanna, and I'll show you what I'm doing. Hey sis. How is ya? It's gonna be cute, I think. I think it's gonna be really cute. I dug out all my navy and yellow ribbons. So I have, I guess I'll show you. Here's what I'm starting with. Tonight, I'm gonna work on one of these type of wreath forms. So that's where the mesh comes in. I'm going to use those. So because of that, I have this form here has 16 little, what do I want to say? Oh, I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. But this is how I attach the mesh. And so also, that's where I'm going to put the ribbon on my wreath. So anyway, so I have four different fabrics of ribbon, two of which are 1.5 inch ribbon. So I've got the plain one and then the navy buffalo check, and then I have two of the 2.5 inch. So these two are going together, and then I have this plain yellow that's going with some navy polka dots. So I'm working on cutting the rest of my polka dot real quick. So since I have 16 of those little ties, I need to have 8 and 8 of my ribbon. So I'm just about done with that. So I'm just kind of measuring it. I've cut them all at 10 inches so far. And I'm just kind of using my little, this has got little measurements here. I'm just kind of using it as a guide to measure out 10 inches. So what do I have? I lost track, lost my number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, just a couple more. So that's 6, 7. So what's going on tonight? Good old Tuesday night. No storms here yet. Okay, so I'm gonna set this ribbon aside for now. So I'll show you what I have here. Okay, so I've got my plain yellow, my navy polka dot, and then my other yellow kind of with a design in the navy kind of plaid. So those are all going to get set to the side. And then we're going to work on, oh, there's a pin. Okay, now we're going to work on our form. So first things first, take that price tag off. So I have two different kinds of mesh here. I think I'm going to start with this one, the stripe one, and then I'm going to go back and add just a little bit of that kind of, it's kind of like a snowball-y. Yeah. Snowflake, snowball, something like that. Okay, so what you want to do when you have this kind of wreath form, hopefully you can see, and you want to start with your mesh. So I kind of use good old bow maker for so many different things. I just slide this right on here to kind of hold it for right now. So when that comes out, your end of it here is where your mesh, you know, is starting. So it likes to fray, so I always kind of tuck it under, and then it kind of just grip it together, and that way this part, the end of it, is going to go on the bottom so that it won't fray out anywhere. So I'm going to start on the inside first. So this is just going to go right here in this first one. So you put your mesh in, you just take your little twister ties, pull it as hard as you can, and then twist that up. So then you just work around to the next one. I kind of like to measure it out. So if you were to go from this, this tie to this tie over here, kind of that length, it's going to make it nice and poofy. And then, so it's probably about 10 inches or so, really. And go to the next one. And you could start on the inside if you wanted to. I just always, yeah, Jesse just walked through. So you never, there's a cat, there's a dog, who knows? Like I said, you could start on the outside if you want to. Just start on one or the other. Either do all the outside first or do all of the inside first. Either way. Just make sure you do one or the other. Ah, come on. I don't do these too terribly often. This mesh one, I'm going to use some flowers in it tonight, but they don't always work as well with flowers as opposed to like a grapevine would, because you know you can glue that in there really good. So, and you don't have to use flowers on these either, but okay, so I got to the end of my center one, so now I'm starting on the outside one. Same thing, just kind of measure it out. And go all the way around the outside. There's the cap. Okay, so now, oh, no, I'm not. I thought I was to the end, but I'm not. Almost. Okay, last one here. So I'm going to measure out kind of what I want, and then I'm going to cut my mesh just a little beyond that so we can do the same thing with the end of it there. So I'm just going to cut this about right here so that I can roll this end up too. And just kind of bring it together, and then it's going to go right here into my last little tie. Okay, so now I have that mesh. You can go back and kind of fluff it out a little bit. But I've got mesh on every single one of these little ties so far. I'll show you. I'm going to fluff it just a bit, but I'll show you what it looks like here in just a second. Okay. So there's quite a bit of that, and we're going to add ribbons and flowers and all of that too. But just to kind of make it a little bit fuller, I'm going to use this mesh in a little bit different way. So, let me take that apart, set this over to the side for just a minute. I'll dump it. Okay, so with this, I'm kind of going to do the same thing. I'm just going to cut it in strips. So here, what do I have? Probably about 12 inches. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. So there was 16 ties on my form. So I'm going to cut 16 strips of this. And then I'm going to add that to each one of the ties, and it'll kind of just give it another texture, add a little bit more fullness to it. So I have here 4, 5, 6. Who's gonna keep count for me? 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. Almost there. 13. 14. 15. Last one. Okay, 16. So that's it. So now I'll bring my wreath that I already have some of the mesh going on it. So what I like to do is spread this out and then just kind of roll the middle part together. So now each one of these little poofs is going to go onto in the twist tie, where the other, just the plain, where'd it go? So where our striped mesh went. So I'm just adding it right to there. Okay, so now I gotta do that with all of these. So again, just pull it apart. Kind of doing the same thing, just starting with the center. I'll do the middle inside first, and then I'll do that, go back and do the outside. These, both of the mesh that I have, I got at Michael's. They actually had a big sale, and so that was a good one there. And usually you can usually count on using at least one full one for any wreath, but like in this case, since I'm using 2, I'll probably be able to get 2 wreaths out of both of those. Like, because I have about enough to use one more time what I have left for another wreath. So that's pretty good. Or you could use it all of your mesh on one wreath, and it would just be, the more you have, it's just going to be that much fuller. So I think the first wreath I ever made, I wish, I'll have to post a picture of it sometime, because It was so thin you could see the wire through it because I didn't really know how to use mesh at the time. And I went to a craft show and it sold. It sold. So I was shocked, and I wasn't shocked. I was shocked at the time just because I was so excited to sell something. But now I think back, and that's been probably, oh gosh, I don't know, 6, 7, maybe even 8 years ago or so. And it just cracks me up because it's like, and the lady's right here where I live, and it's like, I really probably should offer to revive that wreath a little bit. It was for a Thanksgiving wreath, and so it was really cute, but oh, what you learn the longer you do something, right? Okay, we have just a couple more left here. Then we gotta add all of our ribbon. Jeez. Okay. I will show you again what we're working with here in just a second. May have to get a fan because, you know. Hey Brandy, what's up? I think that with my wood crafts from many years ago. I know. Isn't that crazy? But you don't know what you don't know. And so when you do know, you know, you just think it's cute at the time, and then you realize you can, as you learn, you do so much better. So okay, last little thing, and then you can just kind of fluff that up. So there you have it. Adding the extra little snowflakey looking mesh just makes it so much better. And now you're probably saying, okay, Jill, what's up with the, you know, evergreen thing? Well, all you're gonna do when we get done with these is cut them off, so you're not gonna see them anyway. So it doesn't have to be like, you know, a lot of people use them for Christmas and things, but we're gonna cut them off, so we don't care. So we can use whatever we want. Okay, so here's our ribbon that we're working with. Again, so yellow and navy. So I have a blue that's a 2.5 inch and a yellow that's a 1.5 inch. Oh yeah, no problem. And then another yellow, different pattern that's 2.5 inch, and then another navy that's 1.5 inch. So I like to kind of alternate those sizes, but you could definitely use the same ribbon or the same size or that. So here's the sign. I just kind of made this today. This is just a wood plank from Walmart, and I used my Cricut to cut out that little stencil there, and then I painted it on. And then we've got sunflowers, some daisies, some pretty blue, and just some greenery. Those are all from Walmart. All the flowers are from Walmart too. So, okay, so here's where we're starting with the ribbon. Now, since I had 16 ties, I have 8 of both of these different designs. So I'm gonna start with one blue, one yellow. So just take it and fold it in half, just like that. And then kind of pinch it together, and now this is going to go right into your tie. So just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to take the other one, and you can do this just like you did the mesh. We'll start on the center, and then we'll work to the outer row. So I'm alternating. So this was the next 2 ribbons that we have. Now, since this is the only thing going in, this is the last thing going on our ties, you really want to twist them down really good. And if you were really thinking ahead or planning ahead, you could probably just go ahead and cut these off right now, but that is just not how I operate. I wait till the end and do it all then. So, okay, so I'm back to the other fabric or the other ribbon. So I'm just going to alternate these all the way around. And again, I'm going to twist that tie really good now. When I was adding the mesh to it, I knew we were going to be coming back around, so I didn't, tie it down super tight. But now, when you're adding your ribbon in, you can pull it really tight and then twist it up as good as you can get it. Ooh, maybe getting a fan. It's hot in here. Okay, time out, friends. I'm going to get a fan. Holy cow. Okay. So, here's a funny story for you today. My husband and I, well, first of all, we went to a new casino close by. If you're from around here, you know what I'm talking about. And my husband, who wins every time he goes to the casino, terrible day. And I'm not big on casinos. I think it's fun, but I always lose. So I'm not really, obviously it's not that exciting for me. So anyway, we went to the casino, didn't have any luck. We're kind of bummed. We decided on the way home, we were going to stop at Walmart to get a couple last minute groceries and everything. So my husband has a friend from work who just retired, and they're having a party for him at work, but he's going to be gone the day that they're having it. And so he got him this 12-pack of beer, right? So we go to check out, and the kid, who's literally probably like, I don't know, he's maybe 20-ish, I guess, or something. He rings up the beer. Obviously, he was old enough to ring up the beer, but he rings up the beer and he looks at us and he says, "Are either of you under 40? And I was like, under 40? What, I was like, is that the new thing? Like, you have to be, and I was like, if you had to ask if we're under 40, then apparently we don't. Apparently we don't look like we're under 40. So anyway, I just thought that was so funny. Funny and sad all at the same time, I guess, the realization of the fact that we didn't just automatically look under 40, and that's what it's like when you buy beer now. So, okay, so I'm done with the center one, so now I'm just starting on the outside here. I know there's probably people in the world. I have people who want me to card them who are over 21. I know. There's just, yeah. We need anything to make us feel younger, the better, right? We'll go for it. What I was going to say is, I know there's people in the world that don't like polka dots, but I don't understand them because I think polka dots are so cute. All right, we've just about got all of our ribbon on, so just a couple more. I don't know what happened to the, sounded like the weed eater was going a minute ago, but so are those a full roll of certain syrup? Well, Brandy, I had some that were full and I had some that were not. So I just used all of it. Whatever I thought was going to give me enough for the outside, especially, I just used it. So some were brand new and some were not. Sometimes I'll use up the ones, like I'll probably have enough to use all of this in my bows that I make for this, but if I have little scraps left or like a half a roll or something like that, I'll definitely use it for this section of it versus saving it for the bow, or vice versa. If you don't have enough for both, just pick one or the other. Either save it and use it on the bow, or use it for this and then use other ribbons for the bow. So hopefully that makes sense. What's the minimum length roll to get? Well, I think if you, first of all, if you go to Sam's and you ever see ribbon at Sam's, you have to buy it. It's a great deal and it's really good quality too. So they did have some spring. So like this is 50 yards. This is gonna last forever. I mean, I bought Christmas ribbon at Sam's and I had tons of orders and things to do and I still have all of it. So it lasts forever. If you are at Hobby Lobby, most of these I have bought from, I like to use, now some stuff I buy wholesale. I can't make bows. Oh, that's okay. I'll help you. I'll show you how to make bows. But, oh, the teenager's probably home, but they're probably about 3 yards, like at Hobby Lobby or other places. But I like to buy mine from, if I'm not buying on wholesale, like the Wreath shop online is a really good place. Or there's Craft Outlet, that's a really good place. But they're all usually about 3 yards, which that will get you quite a bit. Under 3 yards isn't really, less than 3 yards of ribbon just isn't really very much at all. Okay, what do I have here? Somehow I'm missing the yellow, so I need to cut a yellow strip real fast. It's okay, you can come in. I mean, you don't have to be in my video, but you can come by.
Okay.
As long as you don't say or do anything crazy, right? So tell me if that answered 3 yards minimum. Yes, sorry, that was a lot of rambling and I didn't know if I ever actually answered your question. But yeah, I wouldn't buy anything less than 3 yards. No, there's no dinner made yet. He was mowing, I thought, or starting to mow.
On at our house, you know.
Oh, I don't know. He's out there somewhere. Okay, so here's what we have when you have all of the ribbon on all the different little ties. Okay, so now would be a great time to go back with your wire cutters and cut off the little, whatever's the extra of those little ties. Sometimes they're just pipe cleaners. Yeah, I should be making dinner too. Oh, sis, I'll tell him you said hi. But, yeah, it's only 5:30. Jeez. Just because you came from track doesn't mean you shouldn't be starving just yet, right? So anyway, you could go through and do that. Again, I just wait till the end. I don't know if it's kind of procrastinating or what, but so you just use some wire cutters and clip that extra off. So right now, let's go with attaching our sign here. Okay, so first of all, this, like I said, was a plaque from Walmart, but I'm going to take this off. So it just doesn't work with, I don't need it to attach, basically. Okay, so once I have that part off, what I'm going to do I always use this kind of foam that you just find in the craft department at Walmart. And again, you really don't have to necessarily use this foam, especially like on this one because it's a little bit, I mean, it's fairly thin, but I used it in a situation where I have a really thin sign, not a metal sign, because a metal sign I would not use this for, but I just don't want my staples going through the sign. So I use the foam to kind of act as a barrier. Now you could just staple your pipe cleaner right to this sign and be totally fine, but I am going to use just a little bit of this foam for that. So I have my staple gun here, and it has 1/4 inch staples in it. Now I'm gonna double check, but I think my sign is just gonna fit like right in the middle, pretty sure. Just like that. So I am going to put my pipe cleaner on each side of my sign. That's how I'm gonna attach it to my wreath. So there's my foam. I kind of try to crisscross my staples there, just to kind of hold it on a little bit better. So then we're ready to attach the sign. So I usually kind of like try to look at it and see where I want the top to be. I don't think on this one it's really going to make a whole lot of difference. So just kind of lay your sign on there, and then I'm going to poke my pipe cleaner right through so it can attach to, I'll try to show you here, the wire that's in the middle. So try to just kind of get it to lay down a little bit where I want it. Now you both are coming through, huh? And then twist the back on. So it's actually attaching to this inner wire here. Yeah, you walked in the door and asked where dinner was. Okay, so from this side, you can kind of see if you move your fabric and everything around, you can see that wire. And then just pull it nice and tight and then twist it on. Okay. So once you have it on there, kind of wiggle it around. Oh, Carter Alyssa said hi. There you have it. Teenage brother response. Okay, so I'm tightening up this side real quick. There you go. Okay. There we go. So far, yeah, I almost gave them away. That's what we got so far. So now we'll probably put a big bow here and at the bottom. Top and bottom, I usually kind of like to do like 1 and 2. Something like that. How do you determine a great minor form? Preference, really, Brandy? I actually would rather do the grapevine just because, well, no, I take it back. What you could do without using any florals or flowers or anything, you could just make these with the mesh and the ribbons, and not have to use the flowers, and it's fine. It's super easy to make bows for this and everything. But when you start adding flowers into mesh, it just is a little bit harder to get them to glue into place. So that's why I like to use grapevine for when I'm using flowers and things. Again, not that you can't, it's just I know when I'm like gluing something into the grapevine that I'm getting it like in there to where it's going to stay, and you don't really have that when you're using this. So there's a little bit of difference there. So it's preference pretty much. Okay. So bow time. Yeah, you got the look because like, could you be any louder? Can you be any louder? Yeah, you. This is what happens when Mom's trying to work after hours, right? Okay, so I have, let me show you. So here's the ribbons I use. These four are what I used on the wreath. That's what we cut and added there. So then I also had this kind of navy polka dot and then a plain one. So I'm just going to add those to my bows. So done with that. Okay. So again, bow maker from Michael's. It's like $12. You can use it for so many different things. So, okay, for this one, you always want to start with the widest ribbons first. So you want to start with them, meaning you're building your bow from the bottom up. So you start with your widest ribbons at the bottom, and then your smaller ribbons are going to go on the top. Kind of helps give it the poof a little bit, makes it more full. So for this one, since I've got two navies and one yellow, I'm probably going to start it like this. Start with the big polka dot, the yellow, and then do this one. So again, you could use only one. If you only had one design of ribbon, you could just use that. And you don't have to have 4 or 5 different designs, to make a pretty bow by any means. Okay, so the first thing I did was just kind of measure out my tail. So this is measured to 8 inches. So that's a pretty good size of tail. So you just kind of pinch your fabric together in the middle and then flip it over. You're doing that so that the pretty side of the fabric always stays on the outside. So that goes over. Now the other side has measurements on it too. So this is how you determine if your tail is 8 inches, how big do you want your loop? So I kind of start with about 6 inches for, the largest. So the very first ribbon is going to be the biggest ribbon, or not the biggest, maybe I'm going to use the most of that. So I want my loop here to be about 6 inches. So again, I pinch this in the middle and then I flip it. So the pretty side of the fabric on this side is now on the bottom. So then I'm just going to do two loops of each one. And then I cut this side at 8 inches also. So there's how it starts. So you've got this tail, it looped over and created this loop, which came over here, created that loop, and then you have your other tail on this side. Okay? So you're done with that fabric for right now, or this ribbon. So then I'm going with the yellow one. So now I'm just going to make this tail just slightly shorter than the navy one. And this loop here is going to be just a little bit smaller than the one before it. And it's just going to kind of slowly get shorter and shorter till or smaller and smaller, the very last ribbon. Well, there's tons of different designs you can use to make a bow like this on this bow maker. This is just kind of my favorite. I like the multicolor ribbon, or the multi-design ribbon look in bows, and I like the different width look to bows. And I also like the bows that are round, you know, more round, as opposed to the ones that have the loops and then the tails like maybe just hang straight down or something. So this is just kind of my go-to favorite design for a bow. And I usually, in a situation like this, will make one big bow for like the top part of the wreath, and then one that's a little bit smaller for a different area of the wreath. Okay, so those were my 3 2.5-inch ribbons. So now I have 3 1.5-inch ribbons, and I'm just going to do the same thing. So I'm going to start with, since I've got a pattern, I'm probably going to start with the solid here. So here's a great example. This is probably only about half a spool, so I opted not to use it on the wreath itself and just use this particular ribbon in the bow. Just because I knew I didn't have enough for both, so one or the other. Actually, you know what? And I'm gonna skip what I just said because I had navy on navy and I really don't want to do that. So I'm just gonna switch to the yellow real quick. And then, because of that, I'm going to do the pattern, and then I'll end with the plain. So I'm just kind of trying to alternate it in every way. Color, pattern, and size too. Okay, so then I had my navy that I used just a minute ago. So it's going to go to the very top. Okay. So now I've used all my ribbons, so I'm just going to press this down as much as I can. And what I like to do, now you could just use a pipe cleaner and tie this if you wanted to, and that would be fine. I use a zip tie. So here's what I got. So here's all of our ribbon on our spool here. So I take a zip tie and go right up underneath here. And then I press it down and tie my zip tie on just a little bit. Maybe some of them might be. Yes, all wired ribbon. All wired ribbon. They just are better. They keep their shape. They just keep their shape better. Okay, so I didn't pull it too terribly tight, just tight enough that it's kind of holding on to everything so that I could pull it up off my bow maker. But actually, I don't want to leave it on there. So it's not totally on, but it's just tight enough. Okay, so what I want to do is, now you want to take all of the parts of your bow, and so like this side, I have a loop over here. So I'm going to bring the tail out down here. Then on the other side, I'm going to alternate and put this tail up and this loop down. So then I'm just going to keep it going and alternate those all the way through. Okay. So there's that side, and then I'll just work Do the same thing on the other side. So you're just kind of spreading it all out. So once you have that, and it doesn't have to be perfect, you just kind of want to spread it out while it's still there. Then I flip this around to the back. And then you can still mess with it for a little bit. Okay, so once you have that, then in order to attach my bow to my wreath, I just take another pipe cleaner, and again, like I said, you don't have to use the zip tie. You could just use a pipe cleaner and tie it up and then tie it to your wreath. I'm just slide that right under that zip tie, and then I pull this as tight as I can get it. And then you snap the end off. So you cut that little extra off, and now you have your pipe cleaner that's ready to attach to the wreath. So here's what we have. That's that attached. So we'll probably, hang on. Let me get, no, it's clear over there. Hey, would you do me a favor while you're standing right there? Will you bring me that diesel thing? You can take it off. Yeah. Okay, so I kind of decided where I want to put this bow. Gotta get a bow maker. You better. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Okay, so I just slid that through. I'm pulling this as tight as I can. And then just twisting it onto the back. Okay? I got this fan up because it got so hot in here. Toasty. Okay. So there's what we have so far. Now we'll kind of fluff this out and everything. And we may have to, it may have to go up to the outer wire. So it kind of, in fact, let's just do that. Let's move it up just a bit. That was on the inside wire. Okay. That's a little bit better. It gives us more room to kind of move the tail so it's not like blocking our sign. So with that, I think we'll put a smaller one right here. So now what you could do is you could just eliminate all of the 2.5 ribbon and just use the 1.5 inch one and, you know, make that one right here. Or you could, I mean, you could make 3 more large bows or 3 small bows or something. I'm just going to make one with all the same ribbons again, Just it's going to be a little bit smaller, and then I'm just going to put it right here. So I'll kind of just start over again. Now I got to remember, so I started with this one. So the tails and the loops and everything are just going to be a little smaller. That's the only difference, really. Looking pretty cute though, huh? I like the colors. It would be really cute with just ribbon and not using any flowers at all. So I guess we'll see if that's what we want to do, or if we want to use sunflowers and everything else. To yellow. Load it up. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Trying to do this one speedy. Okay, so these are all, you can tell by looking at it. The tails aren't as long, the loops aren't as long, they're just all, just in general, it's just a little smaller. So I'm going to tie this one the same way. Put the zip tie in there, tighten it down, but not all the way. You just work on spreading it out. Okay. So then grab another little pipe cleaner, put that through. That guy's crazy. And if you ever feel like, you know, something's too long, or by looking at it, you can always, like, we can always trim that down. So if it's too long for right now, don't ever worry about it, because you can always come back and shorten it up once you get it on there and decide a little bit. Okay. So let's add this little cutie. Okay, so there's that one. So here's what we have so far. Bigger bow up here, smaller one down here. Got the sign and all of our ribbons. Okay, so let me show you my glue gun here. Turn it on. Okay, here's what I have flour-wise. What does this say? Whatever Dad is cooking, make sure he doesn't try to burn the house down. I think he's got it under control, sis. I think he's got it under control. He's not gonna pull an Alyssa on dinner, I don't think. Cross our fingers. Okay, so we've got the pretty blue. We've got some sunflowers. And we've got some little daisies. And then this is just kind of some little green and white greenery that was there. So, like I said, all from Walmart. Let's start with sunflowers first. What did I do with it? So I'm just going to cut these 3 off. Price tag off. That sucker's stuck on there. So, okay, let's start with this. So I like to use something in the bow, but I'll probably save that for a smaller one, like a daisy or something. So kind of think of decorating in 3s again. So kind of alternating the height there too. So let's, oh, that one just popped right off. He's gonna need some love. These look like poppies, but they're actually called like it's kind of spelled like anemone. Maybe that is a flower. I don't know. Didn't learn something new. So again, and if you've watched before, you know I always hot glue after I put everything there, or when I'm finished, because you just never know when you want to change something. So I usually kind of try to put it where I think I'm going to want it, and then I'll come back and hot glue it later. So okay, so let's add some more sunflowers. So if you weren't a sunflower, like if you weren't a fan of sunflower, or if you didn't have any flowers, you could have just stopped right there when we did all of our ribbon and our 2 bows and called it good. It would have been super pretty. And so you wouldn't have had to add any flowers to it, but this is where that mesh gets a little hard to glue stuff into, get it to stick. So, okay, let's go with some of these daisies real quick. So this is probably where I will add one or two kind of into the bow itself, and I can tell you right now that it's too long and it's driving me crazy. So then the same thing down here, put that in the center of that little bow. Okay, you are ready for up close? Kind of see what we got going on so far. So a little flower there in the middle of that one. So 3 sunflowers there, 3 sunflowers down here. Kind of working in that like triangle pattern. So then we've got some of those little blue ones. Some daisies kind of in there. And I just kind of try to alternate. And so, yeah, I love it too. Thanks. It's probably easier than what you thought, huh, Brandy? Easier? Gosh, did you turn the air conditioner on? Yeah, it feels better now. Like,
I just turned it on, but
oh, you just did?
yeah. I'm not chill off. It said it was 75 in here, but
Yeah. Okay, so I'm kind of happy with how that is. So let's go and get just a few little sprigs. Thanks. I think it's cute. Yeah. It's looking cute. What's Dad say? Is it cute? Looking cute?
yeah,
Looking cute.
righteous and kick ass.
I don't think that's Facebook approved.
No, Facebook.
Okay, so this actually, let's see. I love stems that it's doable, but I have no idea where to start. Yeah, I get it. But now you do. So there you go. So there's our little greenery. So I'm going to use, I had 2 of these, I think. 2, yeah. Oh, that's really circular. 2 stems of this, so I'm going to use all of these. Oh, what I started to say was I love when, like, the little blue ones come in 5, so that's good. Anytime there's odd numbers, like the sunflowers, there was 3 of those, so anytime they already come like that is extra helpful. Okay, there's what we've got. I'm gonna add oh, good grief. Okay. So here's what we've got. Looking pretty cute. You heard the word cute so many times in one night.
I'm going to cute
Okay.
overload.
Cute overload. So that's where I think we're gonna end with it. So I'll go back and hot glue everything into place, of course. Cut off all of these little, oh my goodness, that's not good. Okay. Cut off all the extras. Yeah, I love it too. I think it's super cute. Anyway, and I will share a picture of it, how it looks when I get it all finished. So, just kind of a little hole right there, so I might have to fill that a little bit. But anyway, thanks for joining me, gals, in making this little home sweet home wreath. Good old Kansas sunflower wreath. So that was a good one. But, yeah. So as always, I will post it to my website, and you can check it out. So not, of course, like I said, I'll share a picture when it's finished on my Facebook page so you can see it, and then it will be available. So anyway, thanks for joining me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.